What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate episode. Today's debate episode is going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about Godzilla Ultima versus Shin Ghidorah. So here's the plan, folks. We're going to go over their backstories, we're going to analyze them, and once we're done with that, we're going to put them up against each other in a death battle. So, without further ado, let's begin with the main culprit, Shin Ghidorah. So we'll start off with the backstory and then we'll move on from there. Alright, so Shin Ghidorah came to be when aliens who had the power of time traveling were able to travel back in time to Godzillasaurus and pick up the Ghidorah babies, as known as the Dorats, and time travel them back to 2016 and replace the existence of Shin Godzilla with the three Dorats, so the nuclear waste would be present to the Dorats and not Shin Godzilla. And till this day, Shin Ghidorah reigns as king. So basically, it's a switch and reverse. What happened is they took Shin Godzilla, replaced him with the Dorats via time travel. Smart and cool way. So this is the backstory that I came up with for Shin Ghidorah. Now, the height of Shin Ghidorah is approximately 192 meters tall. Abilities I'm gonna skim over. We're gonna come back to them and do a deep analysis, do not worry. So quick skim. Death Ray, Eye Lasers, Wing Blast, Adaptation Ability, Space Impact, Tail Flesh Ripper, Negative Gravity Beam. Aggression level is high, Territorial level is high, Biome is Earth and space, because Ghidorah can both live in Earth and can live in space. Okay, let's go back to the abilities and let's do a deep analysis, as I promised. So first we have the Death Ray. So this comes kind of similar to Shin DNA, because remember, what DNA is in Shin Godzilla is now in King Ghidorah, because everything that was put into Shin Godzilla via the nuclear waste is now in King Ghidorah, which is now called Shin Ghidorah. So this ray is like a purple ray, just how Shin Godzilla's was. However, it does have an electrocution way, or I should say an electric side. Electrocution, you get the point, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is it's the gravity beam kind of transformed into Shin Godzilla's atomic ray, or atomic laser, however you want to say it. So it's a very powerful laser. So it's a laser slash electric pulse and all that stuff combined into one ability. And it's very powerful. It kills opponents. That's how powerful it is. It is the Death Ray. Okay, next we have the Eye Lasers. So not only do we have the Death Ray, but Shin Ghidorah can shoot lasers from its eyes. Yup. So 3 heads, 2, 4, 8, right? So 8 eyes with all 3 heads. That means 8 lasers can come out, and it's gonna kill a lot of people. It's gonna kill a lot of opponents, a lot of monsters, and it's obviously not gonna be as powerful as the Death Ray, but it's definitely gonna have some damage to cause, right? But the eye lasers are definitely gonna be just pure electricity, though. Pure electricity. Okay, next we have the Wing Blast. Now, if I can give you guys an analogy or an image of the Wing Blast, it would be simply this. If you watched Godzilla King of the Monsters, and that one scene where Ghidorah gets electrocuted, and then there's a huge pulse of electricity coming out of her, coming out of the wings, that's very not exactly the same thing, obviously, but very similar to what that would look like. And basically having the Shin DNA kind of thing, we already talked about, established that he's going to be able to shoot a bunch of lasers out of his wings, and he can even flap them. And once the wings are getting flapped, it's going to be going everywhere, right? Like lasers are going to be being basically thrown everywhere, which is extremely hazardous, right? Both for the opponents, humanity, and any structure that's actually near it. Great. Next, we have adaptation ability. That means Shin Ghidorah can evolve to fit the situation, to fit the environment, and also to kind of recreate opponents in a DNA fashion. Just how Shin Godzilla was trying to recreate humans in his image in the end of the film of Shin Godzilla. It's because of the evolutionary DNA that he possesses. However, this is still the Dorats, and it's not going to have the complete evolutionary power to change forms as easily. Therefore, if you notice, if you're a constant viewer of my debate videos, you'll notice the Shin creatures usually have Biome as unlimited. However, this is Earth and space, so that means the evolutionary ability isn't as powerful to fit every environment. So, technically speaking, it's not as powerful as the evolutionary trait would be in Shin Godzilla, as it is in King Ghidorah's version, which is now Shin Ghidorah, just to put that out there. Next, we have space impact. So yes, Shin Ghidorah can actually change courses of meteors and cause meteors to fall to the Earth on specific locations. And that could be on opponents as well, right? So, it's very powerful. Next, we have the Tail Flesh Ripper. So the end of the tail, if you know King Ghidorah's, like I'm talking about the actual King Ghidorah, like General King Ghidorah, the end of the tail is like kind of like a snake's end, right? Like a rattlesnake end, but it's more ragged or jagged. I don't know, whatever you want to say it. It's both, I guess, mean the same thing or similar to each other. Ragged, jagged, whatever. But anyways, you get the point. The end of the tail is similar, but now it's very sharp, just like thorns. And if he swings, so he has two tips of the tail, right? There's two tips for King Ghidorah, and same for Shin Ghidorah. When Shin Ghidorah swipes his tail at the opponent, those sharp edges are gonna cut the flesh and do a lot of damage. It could definitely do some enough damage to make the bowels fall out, or the bowels. I said bowels, bowels fall out from the opponents, right? Depending on who it is, obviously. If it's a thick-skinned opponent, then not really. But if it's someone like, for example, in this case, Rodan, ooh, it's gone. Just one tail whip and it's gone. Okay. Next we have, and finally, I should say, is a negative gravity beam. So this is very similar to the Death Ray. It comes out of the same spot from the mouth of Shin Ghidorah. However, it is a negative gravity beam. So what it does is, obviously, it's a radioactive pulse that does a lot of damage and causes explosions, but it also cancels all gravity. And it makes the opponent lose gravity where they're standing, and it makes them basically kind of float and have no control on what they're doing for about 1 to 2 minutes, depending on their weight. So if they're really heavy, it's going to go probably like 30 seconds. But if they're super light, like in this case Rodan I was talking about, ooh, they're going way up. And King Ghidorah can fly. And once they have no control, what's going to happen is King Ghidorah, or in this case Shin Ghidorah, can actually use that advantage and just kill them, because they have no way of using defense or offense or defense. Anyway, it's all messed up. Okay, we got that out of the way. That's gonna sum up Shin Ghidorah. We can call him King Ghidorah as well, because it's just a Shin version of him. But we'll just go. It doesn't matter, because I keep on alternating between the names. I just want to let you guys know that. Okay, now let's move on to Godzilla Ultima, the next culprit. So, Godzilla Ultima is the newest incarnation and singular point with 4 forms, and they go as follows: Godzilla Aquatilis, Godzilla Amphibia, Godzilla Terrestris, and finally, as we know it and we're speaking about today, Godzilla Ultima. Now, there obviously is an inspiration from the film Shin Godzilla to make Godzilla Ultima. We see a lot of that happening in the film, but just going into context, however, Godzilla Ultima was first discovered by people in a submarine before he attacked the city. And we learn in the series that this is the apocalypse and he is the beast, which is supposed to basically end the world. So that's Godzilla Ultima. The height of Godzilla Ultima is approximately 100 meters tall. Final form. He can obviously grow from that, but that's basically an estimate of what we're saying now. Abilities, we'll do a quick skim. We have the Atomic Breath. We have Evolution, withstanding from attacks, Archetype Discharge, obviously, and then we have Terraforming and Regeneration. Now we'll go over these, do not worry. Aggression level is definitely high, territorial level is medium, and the biome is Earth. Okay, now let's go back to the abilities and let's do a deep skim kind of thing. So, Atomic Breath. Basically, it's just like any other Godzilla. It's very powerful, and it basically is a radioactive pulse with fire that comes out of the mouth of Godzilla Ultima, and it does a lot of damage, blows up buildings, and does a lot of damage to opponents, kills them. In that series, there's actually Rodans in that series. I was using them as an as an analogy for Shin Ghidorah, but actually in Godzilla Ultima, there are Rodans, and he completely massacres them with the Atomic Breath. It's it has this circular pulse, and then it just shoots out, very powerful. Like, it's similar to a laser, but not really. It's more focused on like an Atomic Breath, so it definitely does a lot of damage. Okay, that's cool. Now, evolution. Yes, evolution. He can evolve. He obviously has 4 forms, so he can definitely evolve and change forms, as we saw that, and he uses that to fit the environment. Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, not the video, but the beginning of the explanation of Godzilla Ultima, he is inspired off of Shin Godzilla. If you notice, Shin Godzilla can evolve and adapt, so can Godzilla Ultima. I thought that was very interesting how they did that. They really copy pasted there, and I have no problem with that. I think it's cool, but you know, it's interesting. But obviously, the evolutionary process, I would say, is not as quick and not as powerful as Shin, because Shin Godzilla can actually evolve unlimited, and this guy is a bit more limited on the sense. But anyways, whatever. We're not here to debate about that right now. Let's stick to the topic. Now, with that being said, he can withstand from attacks. What does that mean? That basically means that he is very powerful in the sense of defense. He can take a lot of damage and still stand and fight. That's basically what we're trying to say here with the withstanding from attacks. He's good. He has stamina in the terms of getting, damaged and all that stuff. So that's basically what that is. The Archetype Discharge is kind of, it's like this red mist. It's this red mist that comes out of him. It's a smoke. It's not like a fluid. And basically, it's a very great way of just hiding himself from his opponents. It's a very powerful way to ambush. Very powerful way to ambush his opponents. Because when this archetype comes out, this red gas, he's basically clothed in it. Once he's clothed inside of that, you can't see Godzilla. Godzilla is done. And then he's gonna come and, ambush you. Okay. Now we have Terraforming. And basically he uses this to distort dimension and time. And with that he can create these unique plant lives that can kind of... with that they distort dimension. I kind of skipped that part. But yeah, he creates this unique plant life that distort dimension. And it's kind of used for the end of times and all that stuff in the show. And we'll get there. We're not there yet quite in the show. So... And finally, he has Regeneration. He can regenerate his health at quick paces. Okay, that's gonna sum up all the abilities. And we already talked about Shin Ghidorah. Let's go ahead and put them up against a death battle. So here's the plan, folks. We're going to go close range and far range. Now, how is that gonna work? Well, why do I even do that? That's the question, right? Close range and far range. So, far range tests the opponents out at a capacity where some of the abilities are not going to be allowed. And you'll see what I mean once we obviously get there. So, you'll see what I mean. And then, close range is just face to face. Okay, so with that being said, let's go with far range. Now, far range is going to be 700 meters apart, meaning they cannot come closer than 700 meters, meaning no physical contact. So let's see what abilities Godzilla Ultima can or cannot use in terms of far range, meaning no physical contact. So, Atomic Breath, yes. Evolution, does not matter, sure. Withstanding from attacks, does not matter. Archetype Discharge, yes. Terraforming, yes. Regeneration, yes. He can use every single ability. Okay, perfect. Now, let's look at Shin Ghidorah. Death Ray, yes. Eye lasers, yes. Wing Blast, yes. Adaptation ability, yes. Space Impact, yes. Tail Flesh Ripper, no. That requires physical contact. Negative Gravity Beam, yes. So he can use every single ability except for the Flesh Ripper. Okay. Now, face to face, obviously, even in, obviously you're speaking in a way of far range, Shin Ghidorah is bigger and taller than Godzilla Ultima. Way bigger. 192 meters tall versus 100. So almost 100 meters tall, right? 92 meters taller than Godzilla Ultima. However, Godzilla Ultima's atomic breath is very powerful. And so from far distance, with the atomic breath, he's going to do a lot of damage to Shin Ghidorah. Obviously, Shin Ghidorah can use a lot of abilities at his cycle that he can go through, right? And going with that, I think with the atomic breath, which is going to cause some damage to Shin Ghidorah is going to be very quick to respond with the Death Ray. And if I didn't tell you this, he can use multiple abilities at the same time. So Death Ray, Eye Laser, and Wing Blast can all be used at the same exact time. Death Ray, Eye Lasers, Wing Blast, yes, all at the same time. And that's gonna do a lot of damage to Godzilla Ultima. However, remember there's that big however, I believe, from my opinion, when Godzilla Ultima realizes that this guy is extremely freaking overpowered, he's definitely going to use the Archetype Discharge, right? And by that, he's going to completely cloak himself with this discharge, and with that, he can ambush King Ghidorah from different angles with the atomic breath. And because of that, I believe Shin Ghidorah will lose, and Godzilla Ultima will be the winner. Just because how much he can use this. Because he can actually use Archetype non-stop and keep on attacking Shin Ghidorah from every direction, and Shin Ghidorah has no idea where this is coming from. Absolutely no idea. So, just because of that, I personally believe that Godzilla Ultima will win in far range. Now, let's go to close range and let's see what happens. Okay. So, by the way, again, as I said, I just want to make it clear, it is 1-0 for Godzilla Ultima. Okay, perfect. Now, close range is face-to-face, no limits, like, no restrictions, I should say, and all that stuff. Okay, perfect. So, face-to-face, we already established this, Shin Ghidorah is way bigger than Godzilla Ultima. And once these two opponents see each other, they're going to want to attack each other and just ram and just throw each other to the ground and just fight, kill, rip each other out. When they go face-to-face, slamming into each other to fight, get the takedown, Shin Ghidorah is going to destroy Godzilla Ultima in that sense and completely throw him down. Completely throw him down. He is way bigger, faster, all that stuff. With 3 heads, they're gonna bite the shit out of Godzilla Ultima. Excuse my language, but I had to put it out there. It's 3 heads. They're gonna completely bite Godzilla Ultima, like, completely in every direction. The leg, the hand, the head, a lot of damage, right? However, Godzilla Ultima can use the atomic breath, and that's kind of the only thing he can do in this case, right? And Shin Ghidorah has all these abilities to the cycle, as we were talking about, and so I'm having some doubts for Godzilla Ultima that he can win with the Death Ray and the Eye Laser and the Wing Blast. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of abilities, and all at once from, let's say, 20 meters, which is very close for each other. That is incredibly powerful. And he can even lift up Godzilla Ultima, throw him down, and then shoot him with the Death Ray. I see no way. I see no way Godzilla Ultima winning in close range, which is honestly the more important one in my opinion. It's the most realistic one. So, I'm going to have to give it to Shin Ghidorah. So it's going to be 1-1, tied. So what do we do now? We are going to put them in overtime. And we're just going to rate them off their abilities, which is overtime, the way I do it, and then we're going to declare a winner. So we'll start off with Shin Ghidorah, since he won the last one. So we'll start off with Shin Ghidorah. Abilities: Death Ray, Eye Lasers, Wing Blast, Adaptation Ability, Space Impact, Tail Flesh Ripper, Negative Gravity Beam. Okay, let's move on to Godzilla Ultima. Atomic Breath, Evolution, Withstanding from Attacks, Archetype Discharge, Terraforming, and Regeneration. So looking at both of these abilities, I have to go with Shin Ghidorah. They're just more cooler and more powerful. So it's going to be 2-1 because of overtime. Very close fight. Again, very close battle. We had to go to overtime. This was really close. 2-1 for Shin Ghidorah. This is obviously just my opinion, and I would love for you guys to debate me in the comment section below. Respond to the video. I would love to hear your opinions. So 2-1. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great and wonderful day.